Okay, it says I'm going live. Okay, we'll check in and see if let me get all my settings set here. Now that I've checked in, see if anybody jumps in here. I know it's late tonight. Thought I would just jump on here and see if anybody wants to talk. All right, let me get all my preferences set here. See if I can get my microphone set. It seems to be okay. I'm using the one I use for the radio station. Hey, Greg, how are you? Of course, you're one I was wanting to make. How are you coming along with the COVID-19? I hope you're doing okay. You've had it about what, a week and a half now. Hey, Craig, how are you? Yeah, I was just kind of checking in on my friends, the ones that could jump on here. I know we've had a few. We've had about 2 or 3 on the channel that actually caught. And you're doing good, are you, Greg? All right, you're getting over it a little bit, are you? I know we're all concerned with you and everything with the situation. I was hoping that you would feel pretty good. I'm maybe we can hear from Ralph. I don't know. You're just having a headache and the low grade fever. Well, that's good. That's good. You take care and everything, because boy, there's a lot of statistics out there. It looks like we're maybe the U.S. is getting over it a little bit. I sure hope so. I hope we're able to get over it and get back to work and get things rolling again. It's really wreaking havoc on a lot of industry and excuse me. I don't have anything. I didn't mean to cough, guys. I've not been sick at all. Knock on wood. Hey, Shoestring, are you still working hard on the freight side? I know we still are. Yeah, I'm still running hard and heavy right now. We've got everybody rolled pretty good. My phone hasn't gone off in the last couple hours, so that's a good sign for me. I hope everybody out there is doing good. Hey, Joy, how are you? Yeah, I got the radio mic out. I hope everybody can hear it good. This is what I use. This is what I use when I do the radio show. So I thought I would just bring it out. Now, are you talking about line haul, Craig? Because my guys make more than that. I sound better with this mic. Okay. Well, I may have to start using it more often because it's a good quality mic. That's for one thing. And, I like to be able to be seen good and be heard good because, that's one thing they say on the cast. I'll tell you what I need to do. I really need to probably do this too. See if this helps any. Yep. I got a light. I got an overhead, well, not an overhead light, but I have a light that I better watch something. I got an iPad right behind me. I'm about to knock off. I was noticing there. If I hadn't been able to see it in the background, I would have probably knocked it off. Oh, it's nice, clear sound. Well, that's good. That's good. That's what I want. I want to be able to have, a good sound and good visual and everything. So, it makes it a little more. No, I probably need one. I don't have much Napa hair either. As y'all can tell, my hair is getting kind of thin. I was going over. I bought a machine that will do Super 8 film, and my wife and we've been going through our old Super 8 film, and I used to have a big head of hair, and I don't have it anymore. So you're number 3 on the seniority board of 26 drivers. Well, that's good. Yeah, right now I think FedEx is cash strong, and uh, they're trying to. Well, I mean, my guys are working Easter Sunday. Of course, there's not a lot of going on Easter. Not many people are able to celebrate it anyway because of the situation. But yeah, we're even working Easter Sunday. Yeah, I need a haircut. Yeah, I told one of my friends, I said, I need a haircut. And he said, which one? I said, well, probably that long one in front. Average for line haul drivers for me is around 1,200 a week, 11 to 12. It's not. I mean, it's all dependent of how long the run is. Now, I've got some pretty good runs. I've got some that's got some length to them, so that may be why my average is higher. Uh, but on average, my drivers they bring home. I mean, not bring home. They gross uh, about 12. I've got them grossing between 12 and 1,600 a week. It depends on the run. Depends on how hard they want to run. So I mean, there's and each, we're independent contractors, so that the contractor can pay at the rate that he feels like he needs to pay too. I mean, I may pay more than a contractor down the street, or somebody down the street may pay more than me. I mean, it's a competitive business because we, uh, you know, pay that way. Yeah, I used to have some down there. Believe it or not, I used to have some shoestring. I used to, uh, I used to run a run that actually went from Greensboro down to Greenville North, then from North up to Norfolk, and then back down to Greensboro. Oh yes. Oh gosh, yeah. We use ELD. We're mandated with the latest technology on that too. I mean, we can't just run keep trucking and some of these others. We're mandated to run a very high sophisticated ELD. It checks everything, and they can't fudge on it. So yeah, they do that, and then plus, uh, unfortunately for some of the contractors, they're having to change out cameras. We Fortunately for us, we bought the right camera. We bought the one from Lytics, which does everything that the FedEx wants. Evidently, the ones that some of them had with, uh, I'm trying to think of the name of the company. There was another company that was being used, and their cameras are not acceptable anymore with them. So it's you know we're fortunate there. Yeah, well, I mean, FedEx can track our trucks by tracking their trailers. There's GPS on every trailer, so not only can they, I mean, that's how they do it. They ping the trailer, and sometimes, I mean, for instance, I'll give you for instance, I had a driver that made a mistake and grabbed an empty instead of a load the other day, and they pinged it, and they knew that he had the wrong trailer and had to turn him around. So you'll get incidents like that. So they actually uh, they have the GPS that's on the trailer itself, so they know where their equipment is, and if we're pulling it, they know it's us. But they don't have a GPS per se on us. I have the ELD that tells me approximately where everything is, but no, they don't. They don't have a way of. Well, I mean, they have a way of tracking through their own personal GPS pinging system, and actually, it's pretty accurate because they can even tell you where trailers are on the yard. So it's pretty good. Oh, you're on your 10-hour break right now. Well, shoestring, you get you a good night's sleep then. I just do doubles. I don't do triples. We're not allowed to do triples in North Carolina. The only places nearby, I think it's Pennsylvania Turnpike, can do triples. And I know West Virginia Turnpike you can't. But I think it's just the only thing on the East Coast that I know of is the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and uh, that's pretty much it. I think I don't know. I don't know where else they have it. I mean, you may have to ask other people on that. I've not seen. I mean, out west there's a good many triples, uh, and they've got that in multiple locations in California and I think Colorado, and I don't know how many different states. I think there's about I want to say 7 or 8 states out west that will let you run triples. So I don't run triples at all. Mine are on the East Coast just doubles. Yeah, we run 53 footers some now. We got the 53s, but primarily we run pups. We got pups with the converter dolly in between. Uh, that manages that. So that's what we run. I don't run as many 53s as we do pups, but we have them. We have them in the system, and you never know when you're going to get one. I mean, you could take a set of pups up to what they call a bump, or a meathead, or butt head, or whatever you want to call it, and then the guy on the other end could be bringing you a 53. So you never know on those situations. Well, guys, what all are y'all involved with this week? I know it's a slowdown everywhere. Do rub. What do you mean do rub? I don't understand what you're saying, Joey. Oh, do you? Oh, maybe you're just. Oh, do you run 53? Well, no, I don't run any 53 doubles. No, they're not legal on the East Coast either. Well, they may be Pennsylvania Turnpike again, but no, there's no 53 doubles. I think there are some out west again, like I said, but that you'll see more of the triples and the double 53s and that sort out west. And I know the triples are allowed on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. I don't know if the double 53s are, but I'm not certain about that. They're not very prominent, I'll say, within the system. Your phone needs some caffeine. Okay, you got to charge it up. If you got to charge it, you got to charge it. That's for sure. Put it on a charger there. Keep on keeping on. Well, I hope everybody's doing good. I mean, I know this operation right now of the COVID-19 situation is really getting critical with everybody. I hope people are getting out here and doing their thing and trying to try to carry on with a normal lifestyle. I mean, that's the problem we have right now, is the fact that everybody's lifestyle's been kind of it's brought everything to a screeching halt. Fortunately, the Napa business is still doing pretty good, because a lot of people still need our parts and everything. A lot of people, need parts, want parts, and now that a lot of people are off, a lot of people are doing repairs and fixing things and finding ways to make more money or alternative money by fixing things, or doing things like that. So it's we're in pretty good shape for the hobbyist type guy. I mean, he's coming out now. We're having some of the regular shops that are getting a little bit slower than I guess it's tilting both ways there. The regular shops, some of those have slowed down, but then the handyman seems to have picked up. The guy that wants to fix something and do it himself, that seems to be a business that's perking up a little bit. I don't know if it's because the people are off right now or what, but that seems to be the case right now. Well, what's going on with everybody else's life? I mean, I kind of give a rundown on what I'm doing and everything right now, but let me know what's going on, because I'm curious. I know I've tried to. I was going back up through here, and I was glad to see that Greg was back in here and doing good. And Greg had the COVID-19 and has had it for about a week and a half, and he's doing better, he said. We got one other guy. Well, I've got a couple of guys. Everyday Fleet Tech had it too, and he's been on here a couple times, and of course, he's probably asleep, ready to go to work right now because he works down at the Atlanta airport for one of the major airlines. I would imagine that there's still a lot of maintenance to be done because there's still a decent amount of flights out. There's not as many as they have been. I mean, they're not crowded like they were, but that's the way it goes. You never know. You never know what's going to transpire. Oh, you're waiting for some motor mounts. Yeah, yeah. All the no, I didn't hear about the milk being dumped. Where was that at, Greg? I didn't hear about that. Yeah, schools. Yeah, all the schools up here. Are you talking about was the milk dumped because of the schools being out? Is that what you're talking about? I'm not familiar. Or maybe I guess there was probably a stockpile of milk at the school cafeterias. I would hope that any food like that would be distributed out to the needy instead of dumping it. You always hate to see the waste of stuff like that. So you're waiting on some motor mounts and wheel bearings yourself, are you? Yeah. Well, I hope people will, you know, go visit your local auto parts store and check in with them and help support them. I mean, that's the business I'm in here on this part, and I definitely want to see it. Uh, well, hey, Caleb, glad to see you in here. Uh, yeah, I want to see all across all states. I like to see everything, you know, be productive and try to, try to hang on. I mean, that's the main thing. It's tough. It's tough for anybody to get out here and maintain a business. Hey, Mechanic Mike. Yeah, us Michaels have got to stick together, hadn't we? Yeah. For the people that are new on the channel, my name is Mike. Uh, I see. I'm a Mike or a Michael, whichever way you want to call me. I used to just have my name on here along with Napa and FedEx, but I needed to get away from using the corporate names, so that's the reason I changed it. No, the trucking industry is still. I mean, my part of it is still hanging on good. We're doing good. I mean, the trucking industry is the backbone of the recovery of this situation. I think so. I mean, if it wasn't for the truckers out there, the recovery that we're going to need to have would be really, really in bad shape. But no, I think the trucking industry is going to be what's going to help rebound it real quick too. Yeah, FedEx has intermodal. Yeah, we've got intermodal, and you've got FedEx has got FedEx Freight, FedEx Express, FedEx Ground, intermodal, custom critical, and if Shoestring's in here, he could help me too. Probably, I'm trying to think. We got like 6 or 7 divisions, but intermodal is one of them. Yeah, you'll see if you go out to your nearest CSX line or one of the other major lines, you'll see FedEx. It's a solid gray trailer. You'll see them up there. FedEx Intermodal. No, not yet, and I hope it hasn't. I mean, we've had some insurance claims, but we've never been sued personally. I mean, thank goodness. I mean, I've got lawyers if need be, but you know, but I personally, knock on wood again, I have not been personally sued, and we're protected primarily by FedEx. So I mean, we carry a $2 million policy. Yeah, yeah, you'll see the FedEx trailers, and most of them are the intermodal, but you'll see an actual FedEx trailer up there sometimes too. Okay, Joy, you hit the return before I had to wait for the rest of the sentence there. You're all thumbs this afternoon, Joey. I'm getting half of a conversation. Okay, there you go. The oldest truck I have in my fleet is probably a 2007. And then I have them from there all the way to some 2007 16s. I wouldn't want to fly right now. I wouldn't want to fly because of the way the air filtration system is. I mean, if there's somebody sick in the front of the airline, you're going to get it in the rear by the time that flight's over. I mean, I don't think it's unsafe as far as, commercially, as far as the planes. I think they're probably just as safe, if not safer. The only thing that I would want to see is have this. I'd almost want to get a COVID-19 air mask to ride if I flew anywhere. Yeah, I think. I mean, I'm not the official FedEx where all they go guy, so I couldn't tell you. I personally don't go into Canada, but I mean, we go into Canada. I don't know how far they go with intermodal into Canada. I mean, that's now you're getting into a regulation thing that I'm not privy to that information. Yeah, they do. You got to have a minimum of to be a contractor. Now you don't have to have. I mean, you can be a contractor without having any driving experience, but you can't be a driver without having some experience. The driving experience, you've got to have at least 1 year over the road uh, driving experience. You don't have to. It used to be 2 years. Now it's been lowered back down to 1 year, and you got to have 1 year within the. You got to have 1 year's experience within the past 5 years. I believe that's the way it works. Like I said, there again, you're asking me questions, Caleb, about. Uh, I don't know the ins and outs of crossing the border. Uh, I know we go into Canada. I know we have terminals in Canada, but as far as all that regulation, that's not my that's above my pay scale, you might say, because I've never driven into Canada with FedEx, so that is definitely not anything that I would be knowledgeable about. You'd just have to research that on your own if you're interested in anything like that, because I'm not that guy. I couldn't tell you a thing about the Canada operation at all. I know that FedEx Ground. I know when even way back when we were RPS, we were going into Canada then too. I mean, we started into Canada about as quickly as we did in the U.S. in all places too. Back in '80, well, they started it up in '85. I started with them in '87, and we were already in Canada then. So I don't know the ins and outs of that though. Well, you know, let me explain. As you'll see if you look up over my head there, you see that Carolina Freight truck, and I don't know if I've got the book here or not. I don't think I do, but I grew up in the trucking business. My dad drove for 38 years at Carolina Freight, and just like so many other people whose parents are in a certain profession, it was sort of second nature to me because my dad did it all of my life. I mean, that's the only job I ever remember my dad having was driving a truck and driving it for Carolina Freight. And then when I turned 16, I went to work at Carolina Freight as a dock hand. I went down there loading freight, and I did that. We would they got a bunch of the football players, and when we got off from football practice, they'd have us to go check in down there and load freight in the afternoons. They were needing some help, and they recruited a bunch of us football players back in 67, 66, 67, 67. And I was a junior in high school, and they had us to load freight, and I loaded freight for a couple of years, and then I saw the guys switching trucks on the yard, and I said, that's a lot better than loading freight. Maybe I need to check into it. And I had a good friend that was actually a yard switcher, and he said, I'll train you. So I went down and trained on my own, took my own time, learned how to do it, learned how to back trucks, and I trained for, gosh, it felt like months to get good at it. And they checked me out to see if I could do it. And the safety department checked me out. And then I was put on the as an extra board switcher. So when guys were out sick or whatever, or if they needed extra help on the yard, if I was working on the dock and they needed extra help, they'd say, hey, get Jones and send him out to the yard. So that's what I would do. Oh, you're asking. Yeah. It's like everything else. If you have as far as the truck, if the truck maintenance gets low, if it gets bad, you can get a request from FedEx to take that truck off. But as far as legally, as long as we keep the truck up, once it's put on, and as long as we maintain that truck, and that truck does not have a bad history of breaking down, then we can keep the truck on. I had some that I had on 10 years, and we kept overhauling them and putting them back on. And I've actually done that recently. I've got 3 07s that are the non-EGR, which don't give us a lot of trouble, that I've got out there running right now that we've overhauled, and we put 1,000,000 miles on them and overhauled them and stuck them back out there again, and they're still running. And actually, they're probably some of the most reliable trucks we have. I don't have any Volvos. I take it back. I got a record that's a Volvo, but I don't have any 2019 or 2020 Volvos. No. The truck is not bought through FedEx. The truck, we're independent contractors. We buy our own vehicles at our price. Whatever we negotiate, they don't get involved with anything on the negotiations of the equipment or where we have to do it. Yeah. Well, Snap-on is they've got situations. I mean, any franchisee. I mean, you're obligated to maintain. Now, I'm obligated to get all these newer trucks and get the new technology. We've got by 2024, we got to have our entire fleet into the new technology. In other words, the forward-facing collision mitigation equipment and everything. I've got about 17 of them right now, and I've got about 70% of my fleet that's got that now. And the older ones, we are going to have to take off because they don't have that and can't get that on it. You can't retrofit them. So I'm going to have that. Well, I used to be a Mac guy, and then I got burnt by Mac, and I got away from Mac. I used to be, and when Mac got bought out by Volvo, they put the Volvo engines in Mac, and they went downhill. That's just my opinion, Craig. They just went downhill after that. I used to be a big Mac guy. I had some. Oh God, I'm trying to think the different labels, but yeah, I bought brand new Macs for years, and got great service out of them. Loved them, and they helped take me, get me off the ground. And I cut my teeth on a B model Mac back in the '60s as a yard switcher. So I like the old Macs. The new ones, they're nice trucks. They ride good. but they're a Volvo, basically. I don't know anything about UPS other than, they delivered to me just like everybody else. But, UPS, as far as, it's a union organization, Caleb, and, that's about all I tell you. Hey, Nevs Nova. Brockway and Mac were like sister companies at one time. I think Brockways and Macs were almost identical back in the '60s. You couldn't hardly tell a Brockway from a Mac, and I think they were intertwined. I don't know. I'd have to study the history, but I'm pretty sure that Brockway and Mac were sort of related in there a little bit. Sorry about your phone there. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know the exact history of it, but I do know that, I know those were rough riding trucks back in the '60s. Of course, everything was up until the '70s, '80s, or whatever, when they started making the air ride suspension, air ride seats, everything else. I came up with the spring seats, no air condition, no power steering, uh, rough as a ride as you'll ever get. That's what I was raised on. Oh, you lived on the street. Now, what town was that in, Neves? Is it Neves? Nevis? How do you pronounce that? Is that Nevis? Nevys. I'm kind of saying Neves Nova, or is it Nevis Nova? And Nova, is that from the car? I used to own a Nova. I got pictures of my last Nova was a 74 Nova. I had a 74 Nova Super Sport. It was it was a pretty one. I got that one. My wife, Cortland, New York. Okay. Well, Mac was more dominant down there around, was it Scranton, PA? Down in PA, I believe, is where the Macs were based. I think I can't remember it. That's one of those things I've read about it, and it was interesting to me. And as this company, as you'll notice, that truck right there that you're seeing is a B model Mac that's pulling that little miniature truck up there. That is a B61 with the old Thermodyne engine in it. If you're old enough to understand what I'm talking about, most of the young guys wouldn't know that. And that truck has a duplex transmission in it too. I'm gonna have to do. I've gone to the Carolina Freight. We have a Carolina Freight museum in Cherryville, and I went into it just a few months ago and took a lot of pictures. And I probably need to kind of do a story about Carolina Freight and its history, and show some of the museum. It would. I think I'll try to make it interesting if I can. Now, Cortland, New York. Where is Cortland, New York? I'm trying to place that in my mind. What part of New York State that's in? Is that up near Albany? Yeah, FedEx is all over. I mean, Caleb, you'll see FedEx trailers everywhere. I mean, we're the number 2 carrier in the United States. UPS being number 1. Smith Corona. Yeah, that was one of my first typewriters that I owned personally. I was trained on a Royal, an old Royal manual. And then, but my mother had a Smith Corona electric typewriter. And oh man, I thought I was the cat's meow when I could go home and type on mom's electric typewriter. If I had, we used to have typing homework and everything. And if I had the homework, I took typing in high school. My dad wanted me to, and I'm very thankful that my dad was persistent. Hey, this trucker's life. You doing good? we're staying busy out here. Just over here talking about trucking. Uh, yeah, I am very thankful that my dad was persistent in making me take typing when I was in high school because it's been very good for me. And I had a love for computers and everything as I got older too. So that it was all, a really good thing. You're stuck in California. Ugh. Yeah, I agree with you. Ugh. I hope you get out of there alive. Of course, California's cases in the COVID is going down uh, pretty good. I would imagine the traffic's a lot better in California this time of the year or this time because of this situation. Are you out there on the grapevine? Which part of California are you stuck in right now? You in LA? Oh, you took typing business machines, yeah. Oh, you're on I-8 at the Golden Acorn Casino. Oh, so you're is that the one where they'll bring the limousine over to pick you up? There's one of them out there that's got they got the steakhouse and the casino, and they'll move you around out there. So you it's like a little trucker's not a trucker's paradise, but it's a good stopping point. Yeah, New York still got the biggest cases right now, and I hope we're able to, I hope we're able to get that under control. We never know. Uh, that that's going to be a defining point, I think, on getting the nation back to work, is when they can taper off New York. I really, I really believe if we can get New York under control, we can get the nation back going. Well, maybe that's what I'm thinking about. Yeah, the big Texan. That's one where it's got the steakhouse, and you can go. They'll pick you up with a limo, or I think their limos something like a van sometimes too. Yeah, you held on to the trailer bumper. Yeah, yeah, you'd get yourself killed doing that. And of course, we didn't have enough snow or anything down here. You do it on roller skates, maybe. Be like what is it? Back to the Future, where they showed them grabbing bumpers. Yeah, you have to be careful. That trucker slam on brakes, you'll be a casualty. Boy, people don't realize. I know everybody's seen people that have run underneath tractor trailer trucks. I mean, it will that bumper won't give. It'll wipe out a car. So you got to load out, but then you got your load canceled on the way back. Is that what it was? San Diego to Orlando. Now, where are you based out of, Trucker's Life? Are you based on the East Coast or West Coast or Midwest? I mean, it could be based anywhere. You called it slushing. Yeah, you could be slushing and flushing, couldn't you? Yeah, Flushing. They got a don't you have Flushing, New York? Yeah, till you get the wrong truck driver, and then he could wipe you out. Or if you had to slam on brakes. Minnesota. Oh, okay. So you're in Minnesota. All right. Well, well, it's probably good to be out in California in a way, other than it's California. Of course, Minnesota is getting a little bit warmer weather. I've got a guy that I watch on the Millennial Farmer that I watch on the podcast, young boy that does farming. That very interesting, and I watch his YouTube. And I hope like everybody else out here, everybody's got their favorite YouTube channels they kind of jump on. But I like to watch him, and he's just now getting a lot of the ice off of his stuff up there in Minnesota. Wow. Yeah, I tell you what, you don't want to have a break fire on the grapevine. You'd burn down half of California, wouldn't you? Wow. Mm. We don't get down here in North Carolina. That's where I'm at in North Carolina. We get about uh, I don't think we've had a good inch and a half this year, if that. Mont Eagle, yeah, I've been on Mont Eagle. Yep, Mont Eagle, Fancy Gap, Black Mountain. Uh, what's the other one up there? I'm trying to think of it. Going to Kentucky. You only got about 20 inches, down about 100 inches, huh? Yeah, I'm not a snow person. I know a lot of people like it. I'm just, I guess because, and that's the reason I have all my trucks based in the South too, South or Southeast, and my trucks that go to the get into some of the snow, going to Beckley, West Virginia, Lexington, Virginia, and Tennessee. That's ones that I get to hit a little bit of snow, not too awfully much. You did your first four. Oh yeah. Well, if you know where Conover, North Carolina is, you're about. I live about uh, 20 miles south of Conover, and Conover's where our terminal, one of our terminals. That's actually where I started with FedEx. Well, as RPS back then, but I started at the terminal that was based right there in Conover. That was right across the fairgrounds at the time. Now it's behind. It's a lot bigger terminal they got, but it's still in Conover. They call it the Hickory Terminal, but it's really in. Well, I don't know. I say it's really in Conover, but they've got the city limit signs for Newton, Conover, and Hickory are all jammed together right there in one little corner, and that's where we're at. It's right there in that little corner. Oh, you were at Watkins Shepherd then? Okay, yeah, I know you. I know about Watkins Shepherd. Now, are you from Minnesota? Period. Oh yeah, I know exactly where you're talking about there. I know exactly where you're talking about. Yeah, is Watkins Shepherd still in business? I don't see many of those. I don't. Well, I don't keep up with some of them. Oh, you live in Baltimore. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So you're in the DC Baltimore area. Yeah, that's not too bad of weather. That's better than Minnesota. Yeah. Oh, that's 19. Well, I had a 74. Like I said, I had a 74 Nova. Oh, Snyder got a hold of it. Okay. So Snyder got it and killed it. So you left Baltimore. So you're in the process of moving to Montana, or you just uh, or you already have moved to Montana? Montana would be. I've always wanted to go. I have never been in the state of Montana. I don't know why I've missed that one, but I've kept my trucking primarily on the East Coast, done some West Coast, but I've never been into Montana. That's one state I'd like to see, and probably will one day. I've been in most all the rest of them. There's some out there in a pocket. I've never been to Iowa or Montana or Idaho. So there's about 4 or 5 states out there I've never been in. Yeah, yeah. It's a different. You know, things are different. Things are different. That's for sure. I'd like to Montana and some of those places like that. I'd like to see. You're out of Marietta, Georgia. Well, I know that town real well. I used to have a set run going into Marietta, and my father-in-law used to own a store years ago. This has been 50 years ago, 40, 50. And we used to have to travel down there and take product. He had a clothing store. Actually, if you're from Marietta, you might know the name of the little town. Name of the little town above Marietta was Rockmart. I don't know if you're familiar with Rockmart, Georgia, but that's a little small town of probably 4,000 people, 5,000. But it's sort of northwest of Marietta. But we used to have to go through Marietta to go out to Rockmart all the time. So I was very familiar with the area. Plus, I used to have a run going into Marietta on a nightly run too. I live in North Carolina. I'm in the little town of Cherryville, North Carolina. It's I'm west of Charlotte by about 37 miles. Yeah, I think it has. I haven't been to Rockmart, Georgia in 40 or 50 years. So I wouldn't even recognize it probably. Yeah, Smyrna was one of the big towns. Rockmart, Marietta, and then you get on up to Rockmart and Smyrna, and trying to think of some of the other towns up there. But that's all that has really grown up down through there. It just unrecognizable if you've been away from it very long at all. And it's been a while since I've been there. I would say, oh gosh, it was in the late 70s last time I was in Rockmart. Well, no, I went down there one other time. I went in it was actually the week that OJ stabbed his wife, whenever that was. That was in the 90s, wasn't it? Or late 80s, early 90s. Anyway, back in that time, that's how I can relate to the last time I've been into that area. OJ came to mind. The NBA playoffs was going on, and we were in a hotel. We were watching NBA playoffs, and then they broke into that and showed the Bronco being chased by all the cops. If y'all remember that. Sort of a weird thought, but that's how life is. You'll relate to a major event. Maybe it was around 96. Well, no, I don't think it was that late because my son was still I think it was earlier than that. You have to look it up because my son was in college and he graduated college in 95. So I'm thinking it was somewhere around 92. Let's say he graduated high school, probably 93, maybe 93 ish. I don't think it wasn't 96 because he was already out of college then. And we did this. We went to Alabama down to Huntsville for an event down there. But that's what it was. I'll tell you what, guys, I'm about to get late here over here on the East Coast. What's my favorite year? My favorite year is 1951. That's when I was born. I'll take 1951 over all of them because that's the year I was born. Was 1951, June 28th, 1951. Bowling Springs is just on the other side of me, on the other side of Shelby. Yeah, now I know Bowling Springs. My daughter went to college over there. She went to Gardner Webb College over there, and my grandson plays soccer over there a good bit. So, yeah, I know Bowling Springs real well. 71 for you, huh? That's the year my daughter was born. We celebrated. Actually, today is my daughter's birthday. My daughter turned 49 today. Yeah, as I was speaking, Caleb. Yeah, my daughter is just turned 49 today, and my son will be 47 in June, and I will be 69 in June. So I'm getting to be an old man out here. I've been out here a long time doing this, but I've enjoyed it. It's been a good life for me. I try to stay up on things, try to stay up on technology. I try to stay up on the trucking business, everything else. Yeah. My daughter's name is Dina. Uh, yeah, I had to tell Dina that somebody said happy birthday to her. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. And I'm going to get, because it just turned 11 o'clock and that's about my bedtime. Well, actually, it is or not. It just depends on what's going on. But I need to get back to the house and get to bed a little bit. And hopefully everything will go good. So y'all guys take care. I've enjoyed chatting with everybody tonight. And hopefully we'll get through these bad situations and we'll talk to you later.